Um, okay, hello, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, so we'll start easy. How did you come to this project, La Fortuna, and what about Susan drew you to the role?
I think I would say she's a viper. She's a bitch, right?
Mhm.
And those often tend to be the juiciest roles. And also, it was who else was attached to the project. So you've got the likes of Stanley Tucci, my gorgeous Clark Peters, who's just everything and more. And then of course Alejandro Amenabar. So you have these three giants, and I get paid to work with these people. Like what? Um, so yes, and shooting in Madrid, the whole of it was shot in Madrid. And I don't know, I was saying, if you didn't really answer that question, if you've been to Madrid, but it is one of my favorite cities in the world. It's party central, food central, close. I mean, it literally has everything. So
It's
even
definitely on
during
my list.
COVID, it was litty. Do people
Oh,
still say that?
I mean, I definitely it's on my list, especially after the 3 years we've had. Like,
I can't believe it's been 3 years of this shit. 3 years.
I don't know where you are, but where I am, we are in like another kind of lockdown, semi-lockdown. The leadership here
Oh,
is not great. It's not great. Anywho, let's move on. Uh, so of course you just mentioned the Tooch, Stanley Tucci, and
yeah.
being Clark Peters.
Mm.
What was it like working with Stanley Tucci? I assume this is your first time working with him, and of
Yeah.
course, what was it like going toe to toe with Clark Peters in those courtroom scenes?
Yeah, right.
Like that energy was tough.
Oh, I'm telling you. Well, I'll start off with Stan. Stan is a real gent. He's very sweet. He's very funny on set and super supportive. And what I love about he gave me one of the best tips is, sometimes we're struggling to remember the line. He's like, because it's not written well, just change it. What? Just okay. Well, so for every project going forward, like, well, Stanley Tucci gave me permission to just change the line because it doesn't, it's not good. So it's not fitting in my mouth. Um, so no, but he's a real gent. Bit of a 5-year-old if things don't happen quickly. When are we gonna shoot this? Let's shoot this already. But always very sweet about it. And Clark, I mean, my God. Sometimes I forgot I was in the scene with him because his performances are just breathtaking. And
Mhm.
he's a breathtaking spirit, both on and off set. He's such a generous soul and he's funny and my man can dance and you don't get to see it in the movies that he plays, but if you catch him when Clark's being Clark, like he's got the best swag. Like man, he's got it down, he's got it patterned, he's so good.
No, I definitely
Yeah,
believe that. If you got that kind of talent, just acting, you have to be excellent in other
he
regards.
is he's just an excellent human being. The only criticism I have about him is that he doesn't like garlic and onions, and like, you can't cook food without garlic and onions, so like side eye.
No, that's, I think we need to revoke that block card. Mm-mm. No, 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 no. Snatch that back. Anywho, one of the things that I noticed is
Yeah.
that Susan, who of course is cutthroat, like you said, a viper, she's
Mm.
quite the fashionista. There was this one blouse you wore that was like a jewel tone blue and it was like satin or silk. It caught my eye and I just had to go back. I was like, I need that top. But were you involved in the costuming process or
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
what was it like?
I'm
Yeah.
always very, very involved in recent years in any case. I got so sick and tired of being put in the sack and going, okay, then fine. So I'm always very involved. But Carla, our costume designer, she's just incredible. I got to Madrid and she had, all these things pulled the look together. And I think about 95% of it, I was kind of like, yep, 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 yep. And then she came with this gorgeous blue blouse, which coincidentally Clark Peters loved. He was just like, and I worked on set with that blouse. Um, very beautiful to wear. So yeah, I mean, she is, and some of the things were made, but she's very clever. She's very clever. I think she dressed everyone, she got it down to the T in terms of
Mhm.
character and styling. Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure.
costuming is
Yeah.
such an important role. Like it tells so much about a character,
Mm.
It's very important. And I respect that. Like, you look amazing, amazing.
Thank
Each
you.
outfit, I was like, this could win the case, Your Honor. Like, look at that outfit. Um, so regarding La Fortuna, which is about, modern day pirates and treasures lost to history, you can be honest with this question.
Oh, I'm always honest, darling.
Okay, you've been amazing. This is probably the best experience I've ever had talking to an actor. I'm always like filled with anxiety, but you're amazing. God.
Oh, bless you.
Uh, would you rather be a pirate, discovering lost treasure and keeping it, or do the honorable thing and return it to the rightful owners?
Well, okay, just to say ahead of this, the rightful owner never got the gold. So all pirates. And in the case of Susan McLean, like if that's a choice, give it to the Kingdom of Spain or keep it. Damn, I'm keeping that shit. Hell yeah, I'm keeping it.
I mean,
and
we
then
all know where that came from.
I mean, Tania would do some good with it. But actually, I believe that treasure belongs to the Peruvians, the people that it was stolen from in the first place. And those people, after genocide, are still feeling the effects of the legacy of colonialism. And so no one, I mean, it was like 5 billion, today's equivalent of $5 billion, right? 500 billion. 500 billion. That's the equivalent of what it is today in today's money. And it's in a museum when there's hospitals over there, there's schools, there's education, there's infrastructure, there's water, there's countries have problems that could be solved with that quarter of that cash.
Okay, so you are a treasure hunter returning it to the people who need it the most.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not mine. So,
You're rescuing it and giving it to people who need it.
Right. Exactly. So I have a company. My company's called the Hour of the Dog.
Hour of the Dog. Okay.
The Hour of the Dog, which is like always championing for the underdog.
Okay.
It's our time, and I really feel that globally it is our time now. There has been a shift, and as you know, in the age of technology, the world's becoming far smaller, and information, and that can only be empowering, even with Corona.
I feel like eventually we'll sail into more, I guess, the easy waters eventually.
Inshallah, hopefully.
Inshallah. Inshallah. My last question for you is, I was exploring your filmography, and I've noticed you have quite the eye for science fiction, but I was curious about, when you're choosing your projects, what speaks to you first? Is it the genre, the people involved, the character, or the story?
It's always, at first, always got to be the character. Yeah, before the genre, and the people involved. So then, it's the character, the story, the people involved, and of course the paycheck. Because, bro, I got kids,
get the money.
But people need to pay that here. You know what I mean? I worked with people for many years, so yeah. But it's got to be. The integrity has to be about the role. There's nothing going to do the worse than being on a set for how many months and not enjoy what you're doing. That makes no sense. So.
Okay, like I definitely hear you, and like I was looking at filmography. I'm like, the upgrade. I definitely see it. You have like Foundation on the Apple TV Plus. I will get into it. You were the reason I was like, I'm definitely gonna start watching it.
I mean, I've got an incy bit, but it's so good. So please do watch it. You won't be disappointed.
Oh yeah, like I don't know why I missed it. Just like it was on my radar, definitely, but obviously like
you got time, and it just came out. You got time.
Yeah, it's true. I was curious though, like you're talking about your company though. I was wondering if you could speak more to what exactly you do, and I was wondering how does that relate to your acting career?
I mean, literally, it's just that's the label, and it's anything that I do. So in the past, I've sort of made clothes and stuck that label on it. It's just anything that I happen to do. I worked in catering before. There's you hustle, don't you, to pay the bills or whatever. And now, I mean, I work full time as an actor. There's nothing else that I have time for anything else, unfortunately. But yeah, so that's what the Hour of the Dog is, and it's always just mainly as a reminder to me, coming from very humble beginnings. Like I grew up on like the second roughest council estate in the whole of England, social housing estate. And although we had a piano in our house and it was very beautiful inside, you know, you step out and in the lift there was urine and needles and stuff. And my mother has made a success for herself. She's a psychotherapist now. She has a beautiful house in the Caribbean. My grandparents came from nothing and they ended up buying, you know, we've all sort of just worked hard, loved hard. And I feel like we've always been the underdog. So it's our time, collectively, as a family and as a race of people, or people who are in a social certain income bracket. It's our time now.
Marginalized individuals. Yes, I definitely see it.
That's like, a much better way of saying it. A marginalized individual, exactly.
Yes, I hear you. Because like I remember when I first saw you in The Haunting of Bly Manor, I was like, who is she? I'm obsessed. And I don't know, like there's something very special for me. Like I watch a lot of movies and TV shows to see someone who's like, you know that this is their moment and you're gonna thrive from this point on. And like you're definitely that person. Like honestly, like I don't mean to be like too like up your ass about it, but like
no, it's important. Like I'm not a young person, you know, and growing up, I didn't see any representation of me in the UK, right? And I think it's important to have representation. So as a queer woman, as a Black woman, as a mother, as a sister, as whatever, that we see ourselves.
Yeah.
We see ourselves.
No, people definitely.
That goes beyond race, you know. That's like there's so many different facets. It's important that we see ourselves. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay, well, I was actually curious. Like now that you're in this position where I feel like you are thriving, I hope you're happy. And honestly, there's so many people like me who are excited about everything you do. I was curious, would you be interested in like maybe writing or directing or producing? You know, kind of no?
Producing if someone else can write. There's a couple of ideas I have. But no, darling, I'm a one-trick pony. Really, I am. I really am. Just give me the lines. I'll say them. Or maybe I can come up with an idea. But in terms of directing or writing, oh, hell no. No, I'd rather do some sewing or some, like, I don't know, brickwork or carpentry.
Honestly, I respect that. I really respect that. I mean, you are fabulous. You're absolutely amazing actress. So what's next for you? I mean, like I know that it was announced that you were going to be in the next Mike Flanagan, you know, joined. But is that the next thing, or?
I'm literally about to start shooting. I just arrived in Vancouver. I'm in Vancouver now. This is not my
God, you're in Canada with me.
I'm in Canada right now. I'm in an apartment staying in a hotel in Vancouver. And I don't even know when we start photography, but I know I've got costume fittings and what have you next week, and we start that next week.
Okay, I think I might need to come over to BC and see what's good.
Whereabouts are you?
I'm on the opposite side. I'm in Ontario. I'm in the nation's capital, actually. Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for giving me a little bit more time. That's amazing.